The story begins at the mall, where a rich girl, Sarah's ex-boyfriend, was disturbing her, and a cup of coffee spilled on her $100 million high heels. She was confused when a young guy appeared in front of her. He kneeled down and started cleaning the stain on her shoes with his shirt. Seeing this, her ex-boyfriend got even angrier. Then, Sarah offered the guy a date, but his attention was on the bags at the counter, so he refused. Seeing this, Sarah impulsively pulled out her black gold credit card and bought all the designer bags. The next day, she went straight to his house with a proposal. Her parents were shocked, wondering why their daughter had become so serious. Actually, this girl, Sarah, was the heir to a large business empire. But after her parents' divorce, her stepbrother became a major competitor for her inheritance. Now, Sarah suspected her stepbrother was having an affair with an actress. While investigating, an odd guy appeared. When Sarah refused to accept his help, the guy said something she couldn't refuse. Poor Sarah had to fold bedsheets with him. Slowly, the distance between them reduced, and Sarah couldn't focus on her investigation. It was revealed that the guy's name was Yoon Hao, and the actress had trafficked. One day, Sarah went to a cafe where all the single girls were looking at one guy. She saw that it was Yoon Hao, who was working as a barista. Initially, she ignored him, but when she was given a discount twice at the billing and a heart was drawn on her coffee cup, she smiled. From that day on, wherever Sarah went, Yoon Hao seemed to appear. Even at the mall, he appeared in front of her and silently gave her a red rose. Sarah was confused, wondering if this was some new flirting style. A few days later, while Sarah was working in her office, there was a commotion outside. A delivery boy barged in without the secretary's permission. Sarah got a little angry, but the delivery boy insisted that he would give the letter only to the actual recipient and even demanded to see Sarah's ID. Irritated, Sarah slammed the ID on the table, but the next moment, she realized that the delivery boy was none other than Yoon Hao. Now, Sarah really began to suspect that this guy was up to something. But poor Yoon Hao was also misunderstood. His dream was to become a priest one day, and to fulfill this dream, he was working multiple jobs. But the story of Sarah and Yoon Hao didn't end there. Actually, Sarah's father had come from a rich family as a son-in-law, which made him work even harder. But being a powerful woman, Sarah was often judged by others. One day, Sarah attended a shareholder meeting at the company, where she felt her talent was finally being accepted. But the old businessmen were making cheap jokes instead of recognizing her talent. Hearing all this, Sarah felt deeply insulted, but she couldn't confront the shareholders. In her anger, she started venting her emotions while washing her car. That's when she saw Yoon Hao there. Yoon Hao said he would pay for the car wash, but he only asked for a coffee in return. Sarah agreed to buy him a coffee, but when they sat at the cafe, Sarah ordered steak for herself, while Yoon Hao just watched, feeling sorry. Sarah didn't share her feelings, but she asked Yoon Hao why she kept running into him everywhere. This coincidence seemed strange to anyone, but Yoon Hao's real dream was to become a priest, which was like becoming a hermit. His mother didn't agree with this at all, and they had a huge fight. In the end, Yoon Hao left home and decided to work hard to financially secure his family one day. On the other hand, Sarah, despite being a billionaire, was careless with her life. Her luxurious mansion had become a complete mess. One day, when she saw how dirty the house had become, she immediately called a cleaning service and demanded they send 10 housekeepers. But when the cleaner arrived, Sarah was shocked. The company had sent only one guy, and he was very strong. And this guy was none other than Yoon Hao. However, Yoon Hao didn't even know that the messy house was actually Sarah's. Upon seeing the room, he thought, "Now I get why the client asked for a powerful cleaner." He started his work, and Sarah was impressed by his organizing skills. After everything was perfect, when Yoon Hao was about to leave, he noticed that the chandelier in the house was broken. He thought he'd help out, but with one mistake, the entire chandelier fell, and he was left alone. He thought he'd help out, but with one mistake, the entire chandelier fell, and he was left alone. Now Yoon Hao was in shock. How much would this ultra-luxury chandelier cost? Sarah returned home, and once again, it was proven how small the world is. The chandelier that Yoon Hao had broken was worth $6.8 million. Yoon Hao said he would repay the money by working under Sarah, but she immediately refused and said he should just give the money directly. However, Yoon Hao insisted that he would come every day to clean the house, until the debt was cleared. Sarah was a little doubtful about hiring a guy as a housekeeper, but Yoon Hao casually mentioned that he was about to become a priest, and he had no interest in women. Hearing this, Sarah thought that the messy house was now perfectly clean, and with her busy schedule, having a helper would be useful. The next day, they went to the supermarket together to buy everything needed for the house. But seeing them, no one would believe they were employer and employee. They looked like a couple. Soon, Yoon Hao was stopped by one of his ex-colleagues. Sarah began to notice how many different jobs this guy had done, because wherever they went, someone seemed to recognize him. Usually calm, Sarah was now becoming quite curious. That day, there was another high-level business meeting. Some old shareholders began with the same old talk, saying women were only meant to look good and weren't fit for leadership. Sarah tried to control her anger, but when she saw they wouldn't even let her serve drinks just because she was a woman, she felt even more hurt and left the meeting. These shareholders had probably forgotten that Sarah had a stepbrother, Zhu Ziyu. Even though they often clashed when it came to insulting Sarah, Zhu Ziyu reacted immediately. The next day, he directly warned the shareholders that if they wanted to keep working at the company, they had to respect Sarah. Otherwise, they would be shown the door, and that wasn't enough. Later that night, Zhu Ziyu entered another shareholders' gathering and openly warned them if anyone mistreated Sarah or forced her to serve drinks just because she was a woman, it wouldn't be good for them. Saying this, he left in his usual attitude-filled style. When Sarah got home that day, she was so tired she didn't even have the strength to remove her. But her smart and handsome housekeeper, Yoon Hao, immediately went into help mode. Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Zhu Ziyu. Seeing her brother, Sarah panicked and immediately asked Yoon Hao to hide. If he found out that she had a guy as a housekeeper, he wouldn't believe it. Yoon Hao hid in the bedroom with a small puppy. But just then, a loud bark was heard. Zhu Ziyu understood everything, but jokingly said he needed to go inside and check. Sarah nervously refused, and seeing her nervousness, Zhu Ziyu smiled and left. After he left, Yoon Hao quietly came out, apologized, and gave Sarah a beautiful candy box as a gift. Now the house, which once felt empty, had become lively because of Yoon Hao. He not only organized Sarah's home perfectly, but also started taking care of her life. Sarah shared all her business frustrations with him without hesitation. But one day, Sarah left. Sarah started to doubt, did Yoon Hao have another agenda? When she directly asked him, Yoon Hao replied without hesitation, "Yes, I want your money." Actually, Yoon Hao was a church volunteer. His dream was to inspire Sarah to help the poor. Hearing this, Sarah laughed and said, "If you want me to donate, you'll have to give me one of your smiles. I like your smile." Yoon Hao immediately gave a cute smile, and just like that, Sarah's heart melted. The next day, a donation of 1 crore was made to the church. Yoon Hao's mentor was amazed and told him that his smile was a special gift and should be used wisely. From then on, Yoon Hao occasionally showed his charming smile to Sarah, and each time, new gifts were sent to the church. Initially, the donations were only for ration items, but slowly, they expanded to laptops and smartphones. Through this process, the biggest change happened in Sarah. The once cold businesswoman slowly transformed into a cute and bubbly girl. While her queen-like attitude remained, she developed an innocence inside her. One day, Yoon Hao's little puppy suddenly ran away. Sarah and Yoon Hao chased after it, and when they reached the door, a famous actress appeared. The atmosphere became tense. This was the same actress that Sarah had once investigated, due to her brother Zhu Ziyu's love life. Seeing Yoon Hao living in Sarah's house, a misunderstanding immediately formed. Sarah was about to speak, but just then, Yoon Hao pulled her inside. She was shocked, but then Yoon Hao gave her another shock. He said that the chandelier he had broken wasn't actually that expensive. He gave money and gifts and officially said goodbye to Sarah. Sarah had 1,000 emotions inside, but she had no excuse to stop him. Then, for the first time ever, Sarah, who never expressed her feelings in front of anyone, asked an unexpected question to a guy who was 12 years younger than her. On her birthday, her father sent a calendula plant, which meant happiness will come. Sarah felt a slight warmth in her heart. The next day was a family gathering, and she thought maybe this was for her birthday. But when she saw the actress there, her mood shifted. It turned out that this celebration was for her brother, Zayu, and his girlfriend. However, Zayu then took out a gift and gave it to Sarah. It meant he hadn't forgotten her birthday. After the party, when Sarah was leaving, the actress stopped her. There was still a misunderstanding between them, but what she said hurt Sarah inside. As if she had found a reason or was waiting for an excuse. But Yunhao said he was at work.